the Doom Division draft, and then also look at the standings and talk about them a little, and then I'll be looking through some games. So I just went in draft order. There's in no particular order. Um, so we got Night Sealy. Um, I'm gonna start with the good. Every one of these things has a good, the bad. These notes, they all have different don't think all these are like equally good or bad. Like some may have like five, but there's some of these are bigger holes than others. So we started Night Sealy, huge damage potential. If you look at their team and Tyrantrum, Great Tusk, Mawile, Scissor, Walking Wake, like you can't find a much better breakers than that. There's a ton of bulk. Each one of these, are really hard to take down. Not a lot of these are getting O-code. Good low tier value. I'm a huge Miss Maggie's fan. Mouse hold solid as removal. Gardecuno forces some prep. And Cordeli's probably some of the better ones you can get. And the type chart's not bad overall. I mean, being weak to Ghost and Ice, like what can you do? Like, those are pretty good offensive. But yeah. Now onto the bad. Womp womp. So the top speed mons, like if we look at the top speed, like it's like 111, which is passable but not the best. And then also the 111 mons are Thunderous and Mousehold, which aren't the most scary. We got Walking Wake right there, which is good. But having like a nice like 120 mon or that you're likely to bring more often would be nice. Special electrics. If we look at their electric resist, we have Tyrantrum, who's probably going to be tearing out of its resist. Also, it's not as bulky as you'd like. Great Tusk, which is super defensively bulky, but again, specially bulky, it's going to be a problem. So you get a strong special attacker, electric, that can hit Tusk okay, like even like a Jolteon, and it's going to be a little bit of a struggle because there's no other resist on the team besides Cordelia, which most likely isn't coming to most games. No Dark type. This usually matters for the type chart, but it just allows more cheese, like Cosmic Power sets, because they don't have to worry about a Dark type. Limited pivot moves, pivot on. So we have Scissor, which is like the GOAT. But besides that, we have like Dundee, which is okay, but like it's not what you want. And then Mousehold, Gardecuno. So like outside of Scissor, it's really hard, especially with them on like Mega Mawile, who loves getting pivoted into because it really doesn't like taking the chip coming in. And plus Volcanion, trust me, I had a Volcanion with pivot one time, and it's quite happy. It really wants to preserve its health, so it can always force a mon out. But as soon as it gets like low, it's a little bit hard. So some limited pivot for this type of team. The Rockers are not bad. It's definitely good, but like Tyrantrum, you really want to, Terra your Tyrantrum just to set rocks. Mega Wild prefers to be clicking knockoff. Great Tusk is probably like the best rocker here, but you'd like to free yourself up because Great Tusk has like 101 good moves, and Cordelia's not bad, but you're probably not bringing it. So that's a nice Ely. Onto Blind Fangs. Yeah, some really good stats like what is it? Archeops is probably one of the strongest, like just number-wise signatures. Don't say anything about its ability. Megaladios is like, I don't know why they allowed this, and it's just like big number, better person. The type chart's kind of nutty. Like it's hard to lock into a move on against this team, especially with bonds like Ursaluna walking around. And the pivot, man, like you're just gonna get stuck in the blender between Keldeo, like Megaladios, Archeops, Cinderace, Zapdos, like even like the random baton pass on Sylveon. Yeah, so it's like a pretty spooky team. The fair resist, if you didn't see on the other page, the fair resist is a little lacking. You have a few weaknesses, but the big things your resist is Cinderace, which you're not usually happy switching your Cinderace into, defensively. Physical dragons. Sylveon's a good dragon resist, especially for like Dracos and stuff, because the coverage doesn't hit it that hard. However, you get like a Garchomp in there and it presses Sword Stance, like it doesn't matter you switch in Sylveon, it's probably dying to Poison Jab or Earthquake. And King Gambit's like, Sucker might be doing okay damage, but it's not enough to dissuade. So like some physical dragons that can outspeed Sylveon, which there's quite a few, is a little scary. It is a good bit top heavy. So like Lopunny and Boozle are doing like close to nothing. Araquanid's a good pick. But yeah, it's like these last two picks could have been a little like more juicy. No great rocker. Archeops really doesn't want to rock. I mean, it can. King Gambit's probably not coming all the time, and it's okay rocking. But also sometimes you want to run an AV. So Webs is nice. Um, the speed tier is a little bit like crunched up, so we have like all these 120 through 100, and then like you have Buzzwolf as your 85, and then all the way down to Sylveon. And while a bunch speed tier isn't like necessarily bad, it usually means you're leaving some stuff on the table. So like the value that Keldeo adds to a team by being a 108 speed, um, it doesn't add that value because you have like 3 other mons around that speed. It's not the end of the world, but it just probably means that there's some like quote unquote wasted value. And then no grounded poison, especially with mons like Sylveon and Keldeo. Like it's a little bit spooky that you or like you want to dissuade a grounded or what is it? Toxic spikes, because those mons getting toxic is quite annoying, but not the end of the world. Okay, onto Jax. The good, really spooky setup. Oh my god, like Mega Glade, Dragonite. You got Calm Mind, Primarina. You got Booster Speed, Sandy Shocks, and then really nice is Grimmsnarl, helping all these setup. Like just Green plus Mega Glade, like it's gonna just sweep people. And it's got good Revengers too, like Booster Speed, Sandy Shocks comes in. Gengar, like Grimmsnarl with setting screens, basically guarantees you revenge anything. You even have Sucker Punch on Bisharp. Yeah, the bad, the signature I think is okay. It's not horrible, but it's not the best. 110 is top speed, which is a little bit, or not 110, 100's a top speed, which isn't great. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. 110 is the top speed. Yeah, 110 the top speed, which is alright. It's pretty wide, like down. You have 7 points, 7 points, 9 points, like 10 points. So like you have the Mega Lade, which is your top end, but like other than that, like it really spreads you wide. So like you're gonna be leaving a lot of points on the bench. Type weaknesses: Electric's pretty weak. Sandy Shock's not your best electric check. Flying resist, like you have Sandy Shocks and Bisharp, and those two are okay. And then ice, like Primarina's a nice ice check. However, like most ice types get a little bit of coverage, and Primarina's not gonna last forever. And especially with like a Dragonite that might bait in an extra few ice moves, it's not the best. Lacking removal, this is pretty bad because Dragonite and Talonflame both want the rocks gone. They don't want to be the one coming in and removing the rocks. And a little bit like missing Fizdef. They have Blissey and Fezandipity, which are both huge special walls, but no physical side. So it's a little weird because Blissey and Fezandipity do quite similar jobs, but nothing on the physical side to like offset that. Even Primarina runs especially defensive. Okay, onto Fox, the Zebstrike goat. Okay, and defensively, this thing's insane. Like you got Tinglu, Corviknight, Rotom Wash. Like just the sound of that, makes a grown man cry. The speed's incredible. I love the top speed tier of Megalopunny. You won't see me complaining. Having Zebstrika there is nice. Like just in the what is it, 110s plus Latios. Like you're good. You have some good Scarfers, so you're pretty happy. Hazards are really nice. I mean, you have Tinglu, which is always happy. Like it's just gonna be setting hazards. It's nice, and even like the random rocks from other mons if you want it. Removal's good. Spin's alright with Brambleghast and Torkoal. They're not going to come that often, but they're coming sometimes. And then Fog out of Rotom Wash or Corviknight is more the happy come. And the pivot's not bad. Memento on Tinglu's definitely what you want to be running. But like you got Lopunny, Corviknight, Rotom Wash, and then like Latios just for the cherry on top. Solid pivot. The bad. I think the signature is a little weak, unfortunately. Zebstrika is just not hitting those numbers you want. Yeah, like you could just like if it ever versus like a neutral mon with AV, it's gonna be struggling a little bit. It's like a little bit of offensive power. Like you have Zebstrika, which I said is a little bit lacking breaking wise. Lopunny's good, like it's a real good breaker. Sometimes it runs into bad in the matchups, and then you have like Latios, which is a good mon, but like you're putting a lot of weight on both Mega Lopunny and Latios to break. And they don't really break for each other either, so like they both have to break their checks individually. Because like Tinglu, Corviknight, Rotom Wash aren't breaking anything. Torkoal's probably not. Mimikyu's you might think can break something, but it won't. Tauros Blaze might break something with Banded, but then you're like running Banded, Tauros Blaze. Yeah, it's a little bit lacking offensive power. So Corviknight's a little bit carrying on the defensive profile too, which is funny for having a Tinglu and Rotom Watch. Of course, a Tinglu resists everything, but like first dragon types, like you're like Corviknight's probably your switch, like because Mimikyu again isn't that great defensively. Same with fairies, and fairies get good fire coverage too. So it's a little bit suffering for what is it? Corviknight's going to have to take a bunch of these mons that most likely have a little bit of coverage for it. Onto Time Vault. Great hazards. Love to see all this. Multiple mons with Stealth Rock. Tinkaton and Mega Aggron are more than happy running it. Garchomp can run it if you want, and then like even the webs, which are the next thing. You can like I love bringable webs like Rakuen. It's one of the solid web stringers, but like Galvantula Terra, like you're happy just running this thing webs. You can run it other sets too. You're not like, oh, I have to bring Cutiefly to the matchup because I want to run webs. And also some huge sweep threats. Like this team has like probably the most sweeps that's out of here. Garchomp is a monster, like Urshifu Rapid. Like yeah, all these mons are kind of crazy. Even like an Iron Defense on Mega Aggron, and then Espathra Iron Leaves just to rub it in. Yeah, it's a little bit pretty damn spooky. Like almost all the mons can sweep you. The bad. I think this signature, while flexible, isn't the best. It's alright. Yeah, it's just like it speeds a little bit less than you want. It's not hitting the 110 of all the what is it? The really good megas, but it's also not hitting the damage numbers you necessarily want, and it's not the bulk you necessarily want. The top speed's not incredible because you have Crobat, but like you don't want to have to run Crobat every time you verse a mon over 110. Even then, it's like 130 to 110 on Lightning Rock Dusk, which is like a speed tier, but it's not the most relevant speed tier. And then Galvantula, which might not be outgoing. So like for Avenging, you're going to be a little hard. You do have good Scarfers, like Urshifu Rapid's a good Scarf that can make up for that. Yeah. It's pretty wide, like earlier. Like you have the two top mons, like 18 and 16, but like you're going to be leaving, like you got to leave 3 mons at home. You're at least leaving 21 points on the bench. Yeah, so it's a little bit, you know, like you're going to be leaving a bunch of value. Ghost Week and No Dark. So Ghost Week, you know, you're pretty damn weak to Ghost, and you have quite a few mons that are weak to Ghost moves. Thankfully, there's not too many good Ghost attackers, but with Terra, like if you verse a fast mon with Terra, they might just tear Ghost and just pressing buttons. And No Dark, you're going to have problem. You're going to open up yourself to like quirky stored power sets. Ground weak, a lot of ground weaknesses. Crobat you're switching, which can switch in to ground moves, but you're just hoping you don't get hit by the random Stone Edge. And Iron Leaves isn't bad, but don't want to like switch in and then you get U-turned. Removal's not great. It's just Crobat with Defog. Again, Crobat's doing quite a bit of work with the speed, the Defog, and the ground, so it's going to have to do a lot of rolls. And no grounded poison. It's not the end of the world, but like Garchomp really doesn't want to get poisoned, and your removal's not great, so it's a hard proposition. Okay, bread enthusiast. The good top 3 mons. I love it. Like I love nice using all its value. I love when people use their 16 pointers above, and these are real big threats. Like Steela, what set is it? Lele's just a great breaker, and Single Strike could be a bunch of sets, and it's a great breaker. I think every one of these mons is bringable too. Like Magneton's a little bit dubious, but like you might bring it every once in a while, and it makes your opponent think about the Magnable threat. It's not too wide. Like it tapers off nice, so like you're only leaving 16, 17 points at home if you just take your top parts, which I like. Mid-tier mons, they're solid. So like Arcanine and Swampert, very, very solid like defensive mons. AV Cyclizar provides pretty good defensive value. The bad. The drop in power is pretty big from like Tapu Lele to like Hisuian Zorak. You're like really happy to bring these 3. And then like Hisuian Zorak, you're like, ooh, do I really want to bring that? Scolipede, super hit or miss. Like you versus a Corviknight, and you're like, I don't want to play the game no more. Yeah. Speed's a little lacking. I mean, you have like Scolipede, but you're not really boosting up that much. So Hisuian Zorak's, it's not doing what you want. And then Cyclizar's top speed, like if you have to Scarf it, it's dealing 0 damage. Choicing it usually allows something else in. Like it's just no real strong one at a high speed. You can Scarf Single Strike, but you don't have to force a scarf on single strike every time there's a semi-fast mon. Um, Still dark weak. Like your only switching to dark types is single strike, and so if they have any coverage for that, like fighting types, like if it's dark and fighting, like you're just gonna be in a little bit of trouble. A little bit of an ice weakness, like Arcanine, you know, tries to switch in, and then Magneton's not coming to the game, so it's a little bit annoying. I mean, you don't have too many weaknesses to it, thankfully. Psychozar is one, but like Delmise is tearing. Um, and the hazards aren't great. You have Swampert with rocks, thankfully, but like Scolipede with spikes and toxic spikes. I don't know if you're bringing either of them. If you're bringing Scolipede, you're probably I don't know how many times you're bringing spikes or toxic spikes. So it's a little bit lacking. Onto TBL, the good. The top eight's like crazy. Like up to Registeel is like nutty. Actual wish passing. Some people is like, oh, I'll just wish pass the Tinglu with my like Sylveon or something, and usually you don't get the turns to do it. But like Alomomo is like probably the best wish passer in the game. So like wish passing to Registeel is like a really good plan. And this Registeel we'll talk about later is quite key to this team. Great specialty breaking. Like you have Chiyu, one of the best special breakers, Latias, Iron Valiant, can go special, cannot. Really spooky. And then the hazard control is pretty nice. You have fog on quite a few mons, and then even 2 rapid spins. Yeah, as well as like some pretty good hazards yourself. The bad. The signature is a little bit monotone. Like you don't have to think too much about it. It's not pulling anything crazy out. Like you just probably have to switch in a mon that getting statused, because that's probably all it's going to do to you too much. Val's top speed. Val doesn't love being your top speed because it wants to run booster sets and it wants to come in a late game. But if it needs to come in for, to do stuff early, it's not the happiest. Last 3 mons I think are not the best. Regieleki I think is a fraud. Toadscruel I think other people think is a fraud too. And then Smeargle might come. I don't know. It's theoretically scary, but it's probably not. Yeah, like the ground type's pretty bad. Like your ground type is Toadscruel, which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, so like you're just gonna possibly give like Volt switched on quite a bit. You're not super weak to electric, but it's not a nice thing to just get Volt switched on, because like you are weak. Like Alomomo and Togekiss are weak, and then so you have Latias as your resist, but like Volt switch is just gonna tear through you if you don't bring Toadscruel, which do you want to bring Toadscruel? Pretty fairy weak. Weezing's tearing, probably out of poison, because you're not just using Stab Terra Weezing. And then Registeel's like your resist, which is a solid resist, but we'll talk in a sec. Registeel's carrying. So like this is a team with Registeel and the bottom 3. But if we say, hey, the bottom 3 is probably not coming, and then let's say like how much is Registeel carrying, and it's a ton. Like you see how much this type chart goes red. Yeah, like that's the fairy resist. It's the rock resist, if I remember correctly. So Registeel's got to be taking a lot of attacks, and like you really gonna need to be wish pass from Alomomoa because it doesn't have the sustainability that this type chart requires. Onto Vortex. The top end's crazy. Like I mean, Mega Scissor, Landorus, Melmetal, like and Slowbro, Como, pretty nutty. The bulk's insane. Like Melmetal's taking anything. Like Mega Scissors, like one of the most annoying mons in the game. You even have a Hoopa, like base Hoopa has like 80 to 130 special defense, like super strong. Even like a Chestnut down there. And then like what is it? You got Healing Wish out of Hatterene, and like if you do 75% to Melmetal and you get a Healing Wish out to Melmetal, it's just like almost over. The bad. The speed tier is not great. You have Bolton as your top speed, and then after that it's Simipour and Landorus. Yeah, and you might be scarfing Landorus a lot more than you'd like, because I don't think there's much of a better scarfer. There's Komodo, I guess, around that speed tier. But are you really going to be scarfing Komodo? And then Landorus loves its Life Orb, so the speed tier is a pretty big weakness. Your Ghost weak. Hoopa's of course going to be changing type, but like your resist is Alolan Muck, which is a good resist, but Hatterene's going to be baiting quite a few of them, and so is Slowbro. Hazard's not great, especially for like this somewhat like pivot bulky team. It seems like it really would like the chip with the hazards. Like you just have Landorus, which we said probably is scarfing. You got Komodo, and then like Chestnut. It's okay. And then hazard control's okay. Landers again, like really doesn't want to be doing all these like meaner roles, especially on this team, because it's kind of one of its biggest breakers. Like you have Hoopa and like Megas, like at least specially, it's like one of its only special breakers. You got Hoopa and then Lando. Um, yeah, and then Mega Scissor can defog, but it restricts it some. Like you're probably not running Swords Dance defog, and Swords Dance is one of its better sets, so it's a little bit dubious. McMikey. Uh, so the good. I've never seen a chart like this with the number of electric resist. Man, like really punishing the Mega Manetrix and the Regielekis of the world. Almost all these mons are usable. Mawile is a little bit debatable. I mean, it is Steel Fairy, but like I don't think you're ever bringing it. You might like Intimidate Steel Fairy. But like every other mon, like Quagsire has like niche viability. Like Kill Watchful might come. Skeletor's is solid. Um, the speed tiers are great. Like you got Zeraora at the top of the speed tiers, and then like Kartana, and then the number of Scarfies you have is crazy. Hydreigon loves scarfing. Feeney's a good scarfer. Ape Kartana is a good scarfer. Like it's Mamo can scarf. Like it's the number of scarfers like for options you have is like crazy. A lot of rockers. I mean, there's the happy rockers like Quagsire, and then maybe Mamo, but like even like Ape and Hydreigon are good rockers. This team doesn't have any grounded poisons, but I think that's generally okay because Terra Poison Arboliva I think is like it's probably one of its better sets, due to it hitting its what is it? It resisting quite a few things. Grass is weak to and normal is weak to, as well as it allows you to hit the grass types that are blocking your Leech Seed, which is probably one of the more annoying things for Arboliva. Yeah, the bad. The Fairy Resist isn't the best. Kartana is not a real Fairy Resist, especially when it's a special Fairy, which usually it is. And then you have Skeletor, which is good, but like it's going to be sucking up tempo every time. Their Fairy might be able to beat Skeletor, in a number of ways. So it's not the most consistent, and Mawile's not coming. Defog forced on a Feeny. I mean, you can run Defog Hydreigon or Defog Cart, but it's okay. So you're probably running Defog Feeny, and Feeny's got quite a few good moves it wants to run, so having to run defog on Feeny isn't the best feeling, especially when say you're switching on like T spikes or something, or you really want to get rid of a certain hazard. Like Feeny doesn't want to be taking that chip. Another big thing, the biggest thing, is Ape's not super supported here. Ape's like relatively selfish. It loves getting pivoted into. It loves getting wished to. It loves getting healing wished. It loves like screens and stuff. Yeah. This team like doesn't have great, like it has Hydreigon and then like Zeraora Volt Switch to get into Ape. There's no great wishers to get to Ape. So Ape's kind of by itself. It's still an okay mon. It can rock. It can Final Gambit. But it's just not a very much of an Ape centric team. Sceptibird, huge numbers, bigger number, better person. Like it's crazy. You have your Zydog, which is under 500, and then it's like all the way down to Alolan Sandslash, but like otherwise you're all up like 500s plus. And you even have mons that like cheat a little bit. So like Sneasler is like not a 510 mon because it has some burden. Aegislash isn't a 500 mon because it always takes the defensive hit and then changes to its like sword form. The sweepers on this are super spooky. Sneaser's like probably one of the scariest sweepers in the game. It can just win a game on a turn. You do have the train with it, which I think is necessary, so you can proc seed pretty easily. You got Tauren who can plot. Zydog is relatively spooky with like Dragon Dance. And then you have the Suicune and Entei that are pretty spooky with like Calm Mindsets and such. And Ninetales not bad. And the pivot cores, it's solid. It's not, and it's ran home about, but it's not bad. You have Irachi, you have like Baton Pass from Ninetales, you got U-Turn from Tauren, so it's okay. The bad, Mega Manetric is one of my most hated mons. I don't think it does too much most of the time. If they just have a ground type, it kind of loses. I'm not a huge fan. Ghost problem, there's not a single ghost resist. Zydog might be tearing normal, but even when you tear normal for like boosted E-speed damage, you're not switching it in on like a Chandelure like that often. Like so you're still taking quite a bit of damage. The big thing here is Jirachi and Aegislash I think are pretty similar. If you look at their defensive type chart right here, I mean they are like have the same weaknesses. So you're running like two steals that are both like relatively support oriented, with a little bit of damage, and they have like the same type profile, and it leads to like if you don't need to prepare for both different steals, they're both like kind of the same typing wise. Um, the removals not great. You have Torn on defog, but Torn's got like a ton of good moves it wants to run. And if you're just forcing your Torn to defog, like you can't put AV on it, like so it's not great. And then Alone Slash Rapid Spin's not real. And then hazards are okay. Like Stealth Rock's basically forced on Jirachi, but again Jirachi has a ton of good moves it wants to run. Like it has you want to Wish, Protect, Encore, Healing Wish, U-Turn, T-Wave, like Body Slam, Iron Head. Like there's so many that Jirachi wants to run. And Sand Slash is not coming. So the hazard game is a little weak. The Talon Anderson. So the good. I love Flygon as a versatile. It can be like super utility with like defog, U-turn, roost, toxic. Like so, it's super versatile. The type chart's pretty solid. Just source trust me. Pretty good resistance across the board. Pivot's like incredible. You have like look at all that U-turn, unblockable, and then every mon is bringable here. Like literally every Electros is like super bringable. Diance's great. Tornadus I think is one of the to be honest the least bringable mon on the team, even though it costs a little more, but it's still not bad. And then of course all the upper tier mons are quite good. The bad Dragon's a little spooky. Diance's might not be coming to every game, and even when it does, it has problems consistently checking dragons, as well as some dragons can just break through it. And Metagross, it might just be outsped. So if you verse like a guard chomp that presses Sword Stance, you're going to be sweating a little bit. That's probably taking him on. There's a little bit of a gap in speed. There's Darkrai at 125, and then Halucha's not a real speed tier, and then your next is Tornadus. It's okay, but like Darkrai likes to have the freedom to be able to not have to revenge everything or be once are in like nasty plot. But yeah. And last, there's no grounded poison. A bunch of these mons aren't super mad about getting poisoned. I mean, Ursula Blood Moon's really not happy, but you have quite a few levitators. But yeah, no grounded poison to dissuade the T spikes. Oh, and you're a little limited on hazards too. Like you got Diancie with 2, but then otherwise you're running rocks on Flygon, which like it can run rocks, but it also might be just wanting to defog. It might be Dragon Dancing, like it might be mixed. And then Metagross it's alright, but Metagross might not be coming to every game, as well as it might not be like rocks every game. You might want to run Bandit or something of the sort. Wolfpack. The type chart's like insane. Look at this, all that green. And it's kind of funny with 3 waters and 2 steals like within the first 7, or within the first 6. But it works out. Like none of these guys really share a ton of type weaknesses. It's pretty great. The top 8 are incredible. Like Galarian Weezing and Crocodile, like as the bottom 2 of the top 8, are like sought after like crazy. They're super good mons. The Sig, I think, in my opinion, Lapras is what everybody wants Glastrier to be. It's so bulky. It still does great damage. It's a pain, man. Trying to prep for it's like a nightmare because it just walls anything under the sun. Yeah. The bad speed is not great. I mean, you've got like down here in your bottom 3, you've got a little bit of speed, but after that, like 92 is your next highest. You do have some Scarfers in Lando and like Golden Go, and Quack. Yeah, and like so you have some really good Scarfers, but you're basically gonna have to lock to be able to do some revenge killing. You want more pivot. Outside of the bottom 3, you only really have Quaquaval and a Lando. Lando's happy doing it. Quaquaval's a little bit disgruntled having to be the basically ghetto Alomomoa. Yeah, because it doesn't want to be coming in every time and then pressing flip turn to get in your like Heat Train and Dracovish, both mons that really want to be brought in like a little princess. Yeah, and the last 3 mons I don't think are the best. Shaman's okay, but I've never seen it do too much. I think Grafai and Galarian Rapidash are not great. I'm not a big Grafai fan, and Galarian Rapidash I haven't seen do anything. So I think the bottom 3 are a little bit iffy. Hot Rod Toaster, the good. It's a rain team, which has a lot of power. Like it's pretty self-explanatory. It's also pretty good outside of rain, which I respect. Like Fortress is a solid outside of rain. Ferrothorn, Ogre's Pawn are both good out of rain. Um, yeah, you even have Overquill, which can do stuff out of rain, and Kingdra can have some quirky out of rain sets. So I think it's good that you're able to play out of rain because I think that's the big thing that differentiates a lot of rain teams is whether or not they can play when they don't get rain up or before they get rain up. The hazards are insane. Like you got so many spikes, so many rocks, all on mons that are happy running it. Yeah. The bad, it's a rain team, so it's like super predictable, or pretty damn predictable. Like, oh, you're gonna lead Pelipper, and then you turn out to, your sweeper. No way. But so that's gonna be a downside. It allows people to prep easier. You do have like basically higher power for more predictability. Um, I think there's a little too many abusers of the rain. It's too many cooks in the kitchen type thing. Like you only have one mon that sets it, which is Pelipper, which is normal. But like you want Ogerpon to abuse it, Swampert wants to abuse it, Archaludon wants to abuse it, Thundurus wants to abuse it, Barraskewda wants to abuse it, even Overquill like theoretically would want to abuse it, and Kingdra wants to abuse it. So like you're not running, four like abusers with one setter because your setter's dying before your abusers can really get it off. So I think some of these mons are a little redundant. Okay, on to Timmy. Um, the crazy speed. Oh, look at it. Like he took all the speed from everybody else. Like 136, 130, 129. Really nice. The sweeping slash breaking potential is like pretty damn good. Like I mean, it's terrain. Like you got Moon, Boulder, and Moth. Like Crown, all disgusting. Like possibly instant win mons. The pivot's pretty good. You got like Bundle, which is a great pivot. Roaring Moon and Moth, Coco and Crown, all good pivoting. Do you need pivoting on the team? Like you want it on Coco to get into your other mons, but like for the most part, every one of your other mons are just hitting buttons while they're in. So I don't know if hitting's too relevant. The bad. The defensive profile is really dubious. Not a single ground resist, but a bunch of weaknesses. 4 psychics is kind of crazy. Yeah, Psychic's not a great type you want to stack up on, and having 4 of them really isn't too advisable generally. Um, yeah, so the hazard controls not great. It's literally just Coco defog. Like in this team, you have your Coco setting terrain, so it's going to be terrain extender maybe because you have so much like terrain abuse. But then also it's going to be net pressing defog. Your Coco's not very happy, and it's not going to feel like a 19-point mon or whatever. And you are also hazard weak because you have a bunch of rock weaknesses, and these mons don't want to be running boots. They want to be abusing the booster energy with like Life Orb or Specs or Scarf, or like Setup. Yeah, so that's pretty unfortunate. And the bottom 4 don't add much. Like Slurpuff adds a little bit of cheese factor, which might fit nice onto this team, because you're worried about the Electric Train and maybe you sneak out a win with Slurpuff. But like Fergraph, Hasoon, Typhlosion, and Wordier don't add very much to the game plan, and it doesn't shore up the weaknesses either. Delphin squared. The pivots are off the wazoo. Your Sig sub pivot, like you got Hearth Flame, Hands, Jolteon, even like Teleport on Mega Gardevoir, Flip Turn on Palafin, pretty nice. The breaking powers like kind of crazy. You got Kyurem, which breaks like every wall. Palafin, which with its taunt set can destroy anything. Hearth Flame, which is like close to unwallable. Hands is pretty close to unwallable. Mega Guard's pretty close to unwallable. All mons that are super scary. Braviary's super hard to wall. It's also just, man, the base stats are crazy. Bigger number, better person. You have like a 650 and a 660 just to rub it in, and then Mega Gardevoir. Yeah, so like some huge, just like damage numbers. The bad. The speed is a little bit dubious. You have Jolteon, but Jolteon's not the best speed you want. You're not bringing it to every game, especially when they have like a ground type. Yeah, and it's your top speed. And then next up is Hearthflame, which is okay, but it's not necessarily what you want, especially since if rocks come up, Hearthflame's taking good chips, so it's not going to be able to revenge very consistently. It's relatively Ghost Weak. Braviary might be tearing out of normal. It can stay normal and like Double Edge or whatever. But there's a chance it tears out of normal, and so you don't even have the ghost resist. And then I don't think you're bringing Glare and Linoon. And the hazard control is not the best. Braviary and Drift Flume both aren't mons that are like, let me run defog. You know, they can, but it's not the best, especially with like Kiram and possibly your Braviary and Ogrepon Hearthflame all really hating rocks being up. Yeah. So Sadie 90, the good. The speed's incredible. I love 150, like, so you have an insane speed tier, and you even have like a more reasonable speed tier in the 123, and then Urbambi kind of's there. But you have some really great speed. The BST is huge. You got Hoop Unbound just to really drive those numbers up. Like outside of Urbambi, you don't have anything under like, and then Polyrath like 520. It's like a bunch of 570s, really strong. Hazard controls really nice. You have like a bunch of mons that can run rocks like Screamtail. You have webs. Your fog, like defog's not great, but you have Iron Treads, which it's always running spin, so you're alright. Pivots are pretty good. U-turn Masquerade is like a classic. Treads, Circuitry, Petrunt's also a great pivot. A Baton Pass on Screamtail is a super consistent pivot. Yeah. The signature I don't think's the best. It's not, you're not crying when you have to use Polyrath, but it's just not putting up the damage numbers you'd probably like most of the time. You're pretty dark weak. Your resist are Polyrath, which probably is tearing out of the dark resistance. It might not. It might go Terra Fairy, Terra Fighting, but it's not guaranteed. Meowth Grotto, which isn't a dark switch. And you got Ribombee, which isn't coming to most weeks, and when it is, it's probably suicide leading. A lot more fire weak. Polyrath's probably not Terra Watering. It might, but probably losing its fire resistance. Mega Arrow is not a good fire resist. And then, yeah, so pretty fire weak. You do have Screamtail, which basically resists all these moves because it's super bulky if you want it to be. Also, Ground's mildly annoying. Because your two big resists are Meowth Grotto, which isn't too happy just switching in and hoping it's a ground move. And then Mega Arrow, which is the same, where it's like, you don't want to be, versus a Crocodile and just hoping Crocodile presses EQ and not the Stone Edge and then knocks you to the next dimension. So I made this little graph that shows how top heavy or wide some teams went and at what points during the draft. So basically, 0 is the amount of points spent average at that point. And then the plus or minus is like where you are compared to it. So people above it means they were saving a good number of points and they had quite a bit left over at that point. And then minus means they were spending a lot of points and didn't have a lot left over towards later. And of course, most of them end towards the same because I'll end around 0 or 1. Yeah. So you can see, I'll go through each of these pretty quick. Night Sealy, not the most top heavy, but pretty top heavy. Blind Fangs started out pretty even and then went top heavy towards the end. Most top heavy, like he had 2 1-pointers for the last mons. Jack's pretty wide overall. Fox pretty in the middle, started a little wide and then evened out. Time Vault went pretty wide, a little bit even towards the start and went pretty wide. Bread straight up and down, like pretty average overall. TVL went not super top heavy, but definitely a little bit top heavy and then evened out, but nothing crazy like some of the lower mons. Vortex somewhat top heavy, yeah. McMikey pretty down the middle. Scepter Bird pretty wiggling in and out, but around the center. Dallin Anderson like sloped out to be a little bit wide, but overall was towards the middle. Wolfpack started out a little wide and then slowly brought it back, spending more on his middle mons. Hot Rod Toaster super wide, having like 6 more points than on average. So like compare Hot Rod to like what's one of the greens, like Delphin, like that's almost like a 12-point gap at that point. Yeah, so it went pretty wide. Timmy pretty super top heavy. Delphin pretty top heavy, and Sadie not super wide but a little wide. Yeah. All right, so TDA asked me to review either their week 3 game or their week 5 game. So of course I chose their week 2 game. But But the week 3 game was a forfeit win, so that's kind of hard to review. In the week 5 game, I don't think there was too much teachable stuff about it, but I think this one has good learning for both sides. So just looking at the teams, I'll start Time Vault. You got Galvantula, which might be webs or not, so it might be a lead. Scarf Shifu's a relevant lead. This is Water Shifu. Chomp's a possible lead, pretty common. Matches up well into most things. Tinkaton is okay. I mean, it can set rocks, but it's okay. Crobat might use U-turn. It doesn't really have the damage early, but might lead and just press U-turn. High ground's also possibly get the Mega off, so you're better defensively, and then press rocks. So for TDA, Flygon's possible. Get a tear off early. Set rocks if you have it. U-turn if you want. Flygon's quite a relevant lead. Darkrai, not a great lead in my opinion. Tinkaton's a pretty free switch, as well as not matching up to like good into like Scarf Shifu, and like Crobat, or it doesn't stop like Sash Galvantula unless you're taunt Darkrai. Rillaboom's an okay lead. Yeah, Rillaboom's just okay. It's not incredible. I mean, it's bad into Crobat, but I don't think Crobat's too likely. It's not great into Galvantula either, so, you know, Lucha's probably not a great lead because it wants to sweep, and even if it's a mold breaker set, usually they aren't leading. Chandler's also not a great lead, just because it needs some chip on stuff before it starts pressing buttons. Metagross is possible. It might have rocks, but I don't like its matchup spread too much. Like into both Crobat and Shifu, which it theoretically has a good matchup into. They might just be pressing U-turn, or probably they are. Chomp's not a great matchup. Aggron's not an incredible matchup. Tinkaton's not a bad matchup, but it's not even like a huge advantage. And then Galvantula, it doesn't have a great way to stop webs from coming up. So I think Flygon's probably the best lead into Time Vault, and I think Time Vault has a bunch of good leads. What I can see the most is a Galvantula lead, just to set webs. But we get Metagross into Chomp, and yeah, see, Metagross, the only thing it does great into is like Tinkaton, I'd say. Because even these two, who it matches up well to, like type-wise, they just pivot. And Metagross isn't getting a ton of value. But maybe you're really expecting the Shifu or the Crobat. Yeah, so Chomp comes. It's starting Earthquake, of course. It can rocks. It can press a fire move. If this is mixed Chomp with the fire moves, it's pretty spooky. Because switching in Chandelure here is like clinically insane, and switching in Flygon is less insane, but also still pretty risky because you also get outsped after anyway. So unless it's a Scarf Flygon, you're quite scared. But you can't really keep in this Metagross unless you're calling like that they're gonna press rocks. So yeah, probably really master the switch. Hope they're not a fire move, and if they are, you just got to deal with it. Here comes Earthquake. If this is had a fire move, you have to make the read on it, but Earthquake's fine. Rocks might have been also just guaranteed value if it had rocks. Yeah, so now we have Rillaboom versus Chomp. Rillaboom, I don't think so going Chomp with anything, so Chomp's not super threatened. So we'll see what comes out of Chomp. Rillaboom, you probably pivot's probably fine, just going to Darkrai. Yeah, if you're like a Woodhammer is also reasonable, thinking the Chomp staying in. However, they do have a Crobat and a Tinkaton and an Aggron, which I'll take a Woodhammer pretty well. So U-turn's not bad. You're getting pivot in. You're faster than Chomp, which is a little bit unfortunate, because you kind of wanted Rillaboom to take a hit, so you don't have to make a read. Yeah. Also, Rillaboom not being protected pads a little bit not great because you take 30% from it. Dragon Tail is a really good play here. I mean, it might just be a hard read because if Rillaboom stayed in and just woodhammered, you wouldn't be too happy. Yeah, but it stops Swords Dance, and it's good against U-turn, so you get a really good playoff, so not bad. Back into Rillaboom. Yeah, so back into Rillaboom. Drain Punch I don't think is great here. It's still less than a grass move, and you are going to be taking more damage than you're going to be putting out. And this Chomp gets to press anything. Maybe you're hoping they Dragon Tail, but you've got to have at least one other move, I think, that should be good into Dragon Tail. Um, yeah, see a ton of damage. They press rocks. They get free rocks. Um, yeah, I mean, Chomp's not threatened at all. It can press Dragon Tail again. It can press like its fourth move. A little bit of tough spot. If you have like a wood hammer, you know this is time to press it. Yeah, we'll see. U-turn again. It's all right. Here I don't think you should U-turn. Chomp's probably not switching out. You've shown that you aren't too scary to it, so he's probably staying in. You're not slower than it, so you're not taking the hit for a mon that you're bringing in. So just hard switching, I think, would have been better here. The only way hard switching would be worse is if they switched out, but them switching out here, I don't think would be a great play. Yeah. So you take 30% when you could have hard switched and not took that. Chandelure all right. The big problem is you don't threaten Chomp with anything. Also it's faster, so it's gonna get like at least one attack off. But even like a spec Shadow Ball probably doesn't kill. Yeah. Probably I think I would have preferred Rai here. You just threaten it off with Ice Beam. Yeah, pretty simple. It does allow Tinkaton in, but you know, what can you do? You take Earthquake, half to Earthquake, dealing 52. Chomp only has Earthquake really on the ground covered side, which is good because, yeah, allows Rillaboom to really help out. Will does burn, which is good. So now this Chomp's pretty neutered. Here, I think another Spikes would be reasonable. Yeah, I don't think Earthquake is good because you'd be dealing 25% to Chandelure. Dragon Tail would also be reasonable, just trying to get up more hazards chip. But yeah, either Spikes or Dragon Tail I think was the right play here. But we get a ton of chip, Earthquake, but it's only dealing 12% because you're dealing a fourth of the damage you would be dealing with a neutral Earthquake. Here, I think Dragon Tail is the correct play, and I think that's what we'll see. Hard switching out's possible if you have like a Scarf Shifu or something, or like a Crobat. But yeah, because you really want to stop a Rai from nasty plotting, as well as yeah. So Chomp's basically dead here, so you can just hack it to Rai. I think isn't bad. Just Dragon Tail trying to get either chip or stop them from plotting. Yep, we get the plot, and then Dragon Tail misses, which is really tragic because you'd be getting a bunch of chip, and they wouldn't. Still proving that they don't have a great way to kill Chomp. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, here you should 100% Ice Beam. Risking a Dragon Tail again is not, advisable. Shifu comes in. This is pretty clearly Scarf. So we know it's Scarf Shifu because bringing in like a normal Shifu here, just hoping it's not like Sight here or something. Yeah, would not be a great play. So Scarf Shifu might be pressing U-turn, might be pressing Surging Strikes, might be pressing CC. Just sacking the Rillaboom's fine. Getting up terrain. We did see earlier it's terrain extender actually because it went 8 turns instead of 5. Yeah. So terrain extender Rillaboom, which normally I wouldn't be a huge fan of because your only quote-unquote abuser is Hawlucha. However, since Chomp only good ground move is Earthquake, actually extending it's not the worst. So Surging Strike kills. We know it's locked. Going a little interesting here because Urshifu could just stay in and Surging Strikes again and deal solid damage. The big thing you want to stop is Hawlucha from setting up a Swords Dance. Because if it sets up a Swords Dance, it gets pretty close to sweeping. Do switch out. Hawlucha is pressing Acro here. It might have been able to Swords Dance if you're expecting the switch out, but Acro is quite reasonable because you really don't want to get called out on that. You have to grab your kill because Brave Bird from Crobat's probably doing enough. So you have to take your kill. Here comes in Tinkaton. If Tinkaton's T-Wave here, it's really nice. You can T-Wave the Hawlucha and not need to worry about it sweeping because now it's like crippled. And on the Hawlucha side, CC doesn't kill Tinkaton ever. So here, if you had Swords Dance, which I think usually you should have, you should 100% press it. Yeah. Little drink from the Coca-Cola. Yeah, because we'll see how it plays out here, but you'll get -1, basically take more damage, and you won't be +2 going into the later sound. So just Swords Dance here because Tinkaton never kills you. Um, and then you also never kill it. So you should 100% Swords Dance here. There's no real punish. Yeah. Actually, the one real punish would be Encore and Tinkaton. Yeah. If Tinkaton like slow Encored you into Swords Dance, it'd be annoying. But take into mind how likely that is versus the reward of like sweeping, basically. So you get -1 going to neutral. Gigaton Hammer is doing 30% more than it normally would, so it'd be doing like 44. You would have been +2. Yeah, here you need to take the kill though, because you're gonna die otherwise. But now you're -1 when you could have been neutral defense, and you could have been +2, and that really opens up the game. Some would say almost winning. I think Igron might live a CC, a +2 CC, but it's dubious. Evangelist coming in. This does allegedly live anything. Yeah, we'll see it live in Acro. Galvantula, I would just take the kill here. Setting webs, I don't think matters for the game plan. Urshifu is Scarf, so it already outspeeds every one of these Mons, besides, of course, the Unburned Mon. And Aggron is Aggron. So here we'll see them press webs, but I really don't think webs was the right play. I think you just take your kill with electric move. Yep. But webs comes up, so now you have to sack Galvantula, as well as take a lot of chip on another Mon. Here we go back to Shifu. I think Aggron 100% lives ACC here, so I think going Aggron might have been more accurate, but yeah. Surging Strike's coming out. Acro has a chance to kill, as I heard in the post-game chat. It will not get the roll, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. If you were +2 here, though, you do kill it. So I think the big thing was Swords Dancing earlier. Surging Strikes, of course, kills. Darkrai comes in, but we know this is Scarf Shifu. Mostly just the way it's played. So we know Darkrai is not Scarf due to it being Nasty Flat Ice Beam. So Shifu is just going to kill this Urshifu for nothing. Flygon, of course, dies to it. Chandelure dies to it. Metagross has a chance of living, though. It's 100 HP, and it's a Scarf Shifu, so I think going Metagross was correct. Well, this is for sure wrong. Metagross, in these type of situation, you might be like, even if, say, you calculate wrong, and you think Metagross always dies, right? You should go Metagross because it has the best chance of living. Maybe you think this Urshifu is bluffing, and it's not Scarf. But even then, you have webs up, so yeah, it's a hard one. But you should 100% go Metagross here because you just lose Darkrai for free. And then you go Flygon, which Flygon for sure dies and gets outsped because we know it's Scarf Shifu. Or we're pretty sure it is. Yeah, so here comes... It just dies for nothing. And then here you go Chandelure, even though you know you die for nothing. So that's not great. If this was King Gambit, maybe I could see the plan. But now you only have Metagross, versus if you went Metagross first against the Shifu, you would have had Chandelure, Darkrai, and Flygon alive for this Urshifu. But alas, see, you do live with Surging Strikes. It might have been rolls all the way down, but like you live by a good bit actually. So I think there's almost no rolls that kill you, because even it can't crit because it already is critting. So yeah, you would have saved like 3 Mons and you would have won, I believe. And here comes the Aggron, who's gonna take an Earthquake just fine, and then die to Fire Punch. But if you still had these Mons alive, between Chandelure, Darkrai, and Flygon, you would have won, I believe. Fox also wanted me to look at a game of theirs, so this is the game I have chosen. It's basic Rain versus not Rain. Go figure. The most likely leads we can see from a Hot Rod are Fortress maybe to get up hazards or pivot or just get its tear off. And then Pelipper is really likely. I mean, it's a Rain team. You want to get up Rain. It's not rocket science. So Fox might have a plan for That or should have a plan for that if they just lead Pelipper. Both Tinglu and Corviknight aren't the best into just Pelipper. Same with Bramblegast. They're all somewhat passive, and you really want to punish the Pelipper. Lopunny might not be the worst, but also it's not the best. Yeah, and Latios not bad, but like you're pressing Draco, you might be able to press an electric move, but then Swampert might come in. So Zebstrika seems like a pretty likely play. You also get your Terra off early if it's a defensively relevant Terra. Yeah. So we do see the Zebstrika and we do see the Pelipper. Still a hard click here, even though it's like electric versus water flying. You can't just press the electric move because maybe Swampert comes in. Ferrothorn's a pretty safe switch into this Zebstrika. Resisting electric and yeah. So a little bit scary. Of course, Pelipper switching out and just you're not gonna risk your whole Pelipper on a prediction on the like first turn. So Terra Blast goes really good neutral into the team, not a single resist. 41% solid damage. I believe this reveals specs with that, but really solid damage. I think here you should probably just stay in and press Terra Blast again. I don't think Ferrothorn kills you with anything, and you do good chip to Ferrothorn. Also, if they're going to press something, they're pressing something good into a Ghost Mon. So unless you expect a Power Whip or Leech Seed, switching out to like Bramblegast doesn't make too much sense. Maybe into Corviknight is good into both Power Whips, Leech Seed, Knockoff, and you can get a slow U-turn off. But yeah, we see Bramblegast come, and then the punish I was talking about. You're switching Ghost to Ghost, so like Knockoff, which is what you might expect, comes in and knocks off super effective damage, knocks off leftovers. And also Poltergeist is not doing too much, only 25%. Drawball it. Yeah, you just press Poltergeist, no reason to switch out here. And Ferrothorn takes the kill. Here, you have a Ferrothorn that's like super low, so you have to think about two things. One, what kills this Ferrothorn without getting outsped? So that's like basically anything. And two, well, you also have to think about the chip you're going to take, because Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs is quite a pain. So it's going to be 30% if you're making contact, right? So if you're going like Corviknight and pressing U-turn, that's 30% you're taking on that Mon. And then 3 is the Mon you want in, once Ferrothorn dies, because it's likely they're just going to sack it. Maybe they save the sack for later, but it's likely they're just going to sack it. So I don't think going Lopunny is right here, just because you're going to be taking 30% from Helmet plus Barbs. Zebstrika I think would have been a better play, or even Latios. You just take your kill, and then you have to switch out, but these both have they don't take 30% basically. So you're sacrificing 30% of your Lopunny. Bing, bong. And you're still probably going to have to switch out either way. Because you go Zebstrika. You're not choice locked though, which is good. However, it doesn't really matter because Swampert's going to scare you out either way. Yeah, going Corv. Makes sense into the Swampert. A crazy set here would have been Bulk Up Swampert is super good into this team, in my opinion. Yeah, a Bulk Up on Swampert would have been super scary because this Corviknight wouldn't threaten you at all. And then like Ice Punch would put Latios in the grave. Yeah, so thankfully they do not Bulk Up. And Corviknight just takes the hit. Both just pivoting. Maybe just another liquidation there. Maybe not. It's up to dealer's choice. But flip turn's fine. And just slow U-turn from Corviknight. And going Zebstrika here is correct. Even though you're only hitting them neutrally, Fortress's Spadef is not incredible. So getting off another Specs Terra Blast is solid. Terra Dragon's fine. Terra Dragon's a pretty good bring here. Both because Zebstrika's like to be electric, as well as like the grass coverage it might run for like Terra Grass for Mega Swampert, as well as if it's like Terra Water just to use the rain itself. So Terra Dragon I think is a good bring. It doesn't see too much light because it just kind of has to die to Terra Blast here. And Volt Switch is not the not the play you want to see. I think they know. Like 2 out of the 3 abilities of Zebstrika are electric immunity. So yeah, just not a great play with that, but I think that's obvious. Sacking Fortress, yeah, you kind of have to. No other choice. Pelipper comes in. Here I would press. We'll see. Pelipper press Scald. This doesn't kill Zebstrika. and you take a lot of chip on your Pelipper, I would just U-turn, because just U-turn into Barraskewda scares it out for sure. So yeah, no reason to take the extra chip on your Pelipper. Because now you're going to have to switch out to Barraskewda either way. So you take an extra hit on Barraskewda and Pelipper. Yep, Barraskewda scares it out. Tinglu living this liquidation is insane. This mod is not fair. I don't know if this is banded, but it's not life orb, so it's probably banded. Banded liquidation and rain, super effective. It might not be banded because there's no way this thing doesn't die. Yeah, protect is a good bring in general, just because of you get leftovers, but also because you stall rain turns. But it's not going to really matter here. You're going to die either way, but you do stall some rain turns. No double protect. It's unfortunate. Corviknight comes in. I don't think bringing Corv here is the good move. Yeah, it just dies to liquidation. I think we know it's choice locked. It might not be choice locked, but I'm pretty sure it is. So Latios would be the correct bring because you resist the liquidation and you get attack off. Corviknight, I think, just dies to liquidation. It might have been a roll, but I don't think it was. So you just die for nothing. You do stall one turn of rain, but it's not worth it. So you just go Latios anyway. They have to switch out. Imagine you did this, but you still have a Corviknight alive. It'd feel a lot better. Yeah. Luster Purge, solid. You know, just Latios Luster Purge again. Ice Punch might kill, but based on my head calcs, it doesn't kill. Yeah. But we just get a flip turn coming from Mega Pert. I don't love just the spam pivot on Mega Pert. It's not dealing us much damage as like a banded pivot from Barraskewda. And you kind of just want to be clicking buttons with this. Yeah, see, now you take 80% on your Kingdra, which is unfortunate. Kingdra dies, of course, because the rain runs out, which did matter. Tinglu's protected, not a die in vain. And neither did Corviknight, because you ran out of rain one turn earlier. Of course, Pelipper comes back in to set up rain. And here I think you do sack Pelipper. You have 2 abusers left that are like a 4th health. And you have like 8 turns left. So, you know, Pelipper's done its job. It can die. Here, I think... Here, let me calc. Why not? So the liquidation doesn't kill. So I think, yeah, it did have to crunch. Oh, actually I might be lying. Because it is in rain. So, 64. It has a chance to kill. But maybe here locking into crunch is a little unfortunate. Because low punny of course resists. But right here, so this is Schrodinger's low punny, right? We've only seen you turn out of it. So there's a chance it's fake out quick attack. If it is fake out quick attack, you just lose. This low punny fakes out, it kills Barraskewda. Yeah. And then even if you switch to Swampert on the fake out, it dies, right? To fake out quick attack. We can actually do the calc too. So fake out does not kill Swampert. But if it's fake out quick attack, you fake out first and you quick attack and it dies, right? So fake out quick attack, you already lose. So you should just ignore the possibility it's fake out quick attack, because there's no way you win off of that. Let's say it's not fake out, right? If it's not fake out, you just win by hitting twice with Barraskewda, right? Okay, so let's say it is fake out, right? That's like the only set that we have to think about. If it's both fake out quick attack, we lose. Whatever, you know, go next. If it's no fake out, we win. Easy, go next, right? So the only hard set is just fake out. So if it's just fake out, right? How does it go? So fake out does kill this Barraskewda. This was, you have no bulk perk. So fake out does kill this Barraskewda. So if they press fake out this turn, they would kill Barraskewda. You get to go to Swampert, right? Swampert threatens to kill Mega Low Punny, and kills Zepstrika, right? So if Low Punny fake out this turn, kills Barraskewda, you get a free turn on Swampert. Swampert comes in, presses liquidation. If they switch out to Zepstrika to reset fake out, Zepstrika dies, fake out doesn't kill Pert, and you win with Swampert, right? So in this situation, you should 100% just stay in and press a button. So in this situation, you should 100% just stay in. Clicking return here is a little bit crazy, but you just, yeah. I mean, I guess because this is fake out low punny. Spoiler alert. Yeah. because if you just press fake out here, you do lose. However, like they did have a guaranteed win, so you just have to open the mess up. So pressing return here, I think, is correct, 100%. Yeah, because you have to hope they mess up the play. Because no matter what, even if you kill Barraskewda, they what is it? The Swampert just sweeps. So you just have to hope that they mess up. They do. They get hit by return. And now it's over because you can sack Zebstrika, and then just go low punny again and get the fake out turn. And that's what we'll see. But yeah, if you just stayed on Barraskewda, or if Hot Rod stayed on Barraskewda, then Swampert would have just got the last 2 kills, I believe. Of course, there's crits and stuff to worry about. Yeah, but I don't think there's any calc I'm messing up. Fake out doesn't kill the Swampert. So you just make sure to get into Swampert without it dying, and then you attack twice, basically. It's not too crazy. Alright, so last I'm just going to go over the standings. This week 7 right now, so only 1 game left. So we have some people guaranteed out, like Jax, McMikey, TBL, of course, who of course isn't coming back, sad. Also, Wolfpack's game, this last game, is versus TBL, and it's probably going to be FF win once Wolfpack claims. Shh, nobody tell him, because TBL is gone. So this is going to be 4-3. So any team needs at least 4 wins to get past. So unfortunately, I believe Delphin and Vortex are guaranteed out. The Talon Anderson has not bad odds, actually, of some things have to go right, but they of course have to win this week. And then in addition to that, one of these people needs to lose and the diff needs to be greater. So say they win 3-0, and then say Blind Fangs or Night Sealy lose like 0-3, or Night Sealy would have to lose 0-4, then Talon Anderson would be in. Currently we have 2 people really riding ahead, Hot Rod Toaster and Scepterbird, right at the top. Both 6-1, 3 6-1s, Fox 6-1, but only +9 is kind of funny due to the 0-6 loss in their first week, and then also not, I guess, getting crazy diff later, but yeah. Then we got 2-5-2 Skinnian Timmy with a crazy +18 at 5-2, doing better than 2 of the 6-1 people. You know, we got and then we got all this 4-3s coming in. All around the same level. Yeah. Let's see what the current top mons are. Stats. So kill leaders is low punny, good mon. Who knew? Parts, of course, coming in solid. Rapid strike's good. Moth doing quite good. Hulucha, I watched quite a few of the TDA games, and Hulucha's been taking kills. Top 6, Tyrantrum Mollies, doing well. Yeah. We'll see how playoffs shake out. I mean, the top slots are almost locked. I mean, of course, they can switch up a little bit. But I believe top 6 get a bye. And then the bottom 4 fight out, and then 2 come on. So it's actually a pretty intense race, because getting this 6th place spot is really nice, because then you have to play 1 less time. And you have a little bit of a better, easier bracket, because also then I think you don't play the 1st place person. I think I'd have to look through the bracket, but yeah, because I think then you don't have to play 1st place, but if you get put into the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th match, or the 7, 10, 8, 9 match, then I believe they have to play 1st place in the 2nd round of tournament. So yeah, getting the 6th place is a huge difference, because you go from having to play an extra game, which is risky, and then you also have to play the 2nd place team instead of the 3rd place team if you got 6. So that's the real fight around here, as well as not getting relegated. Or not relegated, but you know what I mean.